It depends on what you mean by clean energy. If you think windmills and solar panels are going to run the US electric grid, that's not going to happen. What we need is baseload power, and baseload power is going offline, primarily because of the economic incentives behind green energy in the United States. Interestingly, CO2 has been declining substantially, primarily because natural gas is simply cheaper. What we'll have to concern ourselves with is to ensure that we do not have the blackouts we're being warned will come by a semi-regulatory body that issued a warning saying up to 2/3 of America could experience blackouts this summer. That is simply unacceptable to Americans, and a green energy future that eventually has blackouts is not going to take. For the Greens, high gas prices are the point. They actually want gasoline prices to go up. However, Americans have rejected this. They're getting a look at what a potential carbon tax would look like, and they don't like it. The Biden administration has tried to suffocate traditional energy sources such as natural gas and oil. And in fact, Chevron CEO last week said he didn't envision another refinery ever in the United States. There's clearly a rebellion against high gas prices. In terms of nickel, nickel goes into almost everything that's green, and the U.S. doesn't produce that much of it. There is one single nickel mine in the U.S., and we're seeing nickel prices that are at peaks that we have not seen but about a few times in the last 30 years. America cannot go green without producing a lot of nickel cheaply, and that's not happening. Yes, there is. China produces 4 times more rare earths than America does. China has 6 rare earths mining companies. America has 1 mine. In terms of solar panels, most of the US solar panels that are installed come from foreign shores. About 90%, in fact. Interesting story. Oxen is this little bitty US domestic solar panel producer. And they filed a complaint with the Commerce Department. The Commerce Department began investigating, and the installation of solar panels completely froze in this country. Ultimately, the Biden administration stepped in and declared that there would be no new tariffs on imported solar panels to prevent the market from collapsing. So in this rush to green utopia, the administration decided that it's okay to support China and to essentially leave their own domestic suppliers out to dry. No one disputes that Keystone would have produced 830,000 barrels of oil a day. That's a drop in the bucket in terms of global consumption. The big problem is we just need to produce more. And currently producers are not responding to price signals. Why? Because they've been punished. Last week, Biden said of Exxon, pay your taxes. I didn't know that they had ever stopped, but he is using all sorts of regulatory methods to disincentivize the production of oil and gas. Amongst other things, as I mentioned earlier, he's not having lease sales. Now, I know he will say that there are already loads of outstanding leases, but that also means that they need permits, and oftentimes the Biden administration has not allowed permits. Either way, it's better to get oil from places like the US, places like Canada, vis-a-vis the Keystone, than it is to get them from Iran or Venezuela. Let me put it this way. No politician right now is saying, if you like your new high gas prices, you can keep your new high gas prices, vis-a-vis a carbon tax. The Green Deal is dead, if it ever was alive, because while people will virtue signal with their post-consumer cup, or rich people will drive around feeling very fancy in their electric cars, the fact is most people aren't willing to make the major compromises they will have to make for a Green New Deal type future.
Join the conversation at Fair Observer and subscribe to our YouTube channel.